because last time I streamed for like, I don't know, a couple minutes and didn't have the audio working. So we'll do the thing. That's why the that kind of intro song was kind of useful, because it sort of it sort of handles the let's do an audio check. So just pretend an intro song is playing. Let's see, view stream. Do we have audio? Does sound like something's coming in. All right. I'm going to say it's good. You know, just yell at me if something is not working. But yeah, we're doing a dev stream. I don't really know what we're doing. We're gonna plan some stuff on the fly here. Set some bounties. I thought of some things. I think I took a note on things to set a bounty to. We now have a bounty program for DS Circuit, so there's ways to get like $5 or $10 or something for an issue. I think so far we've gone as high as 50 if you write docs, because that's kind of what's lacking. Anyway, the thing I want to, like, I just got bothered and I thought I might start streaming. There's an issue with these diameters, and you only know if you know. Like, I actually got some boards, sent them to me, and then I was like, these are impossible to solder, and it's because of this diameter. Oof. I've got a lot of windows going, but it's because of this, like, that, like, darker pink part is not very thick. So we're going to increase the thickness of that to standard levels. I asked Claude what the standard levels are. It said 1.4 to 1.7, so we're going to call it 1.5. So let's just jump in, fix some parameters. Outer diameter, wherever you see outer diameter 1.2, it is most likely the wrong thing. I think those ones are fine. And we can just run our tests. Every repo, even visual repos, have snapshot testing and stuff like that. So fixed plated hole outer diameter default to be 1.5 millimeters. Who knows why I set it to 1.2? Probably another chat GPT answer, but 1.5 sounds a lot better. So it's just about circling the right answer without looking at a spec, right? Let's push that up, create a PR. And then we're also going to look in the Discord here. What are people talking about? Yeah, and the battery was working for me. I updated my core fork and started doing this. Because the name change. Yeah, let's fix the diode thing. Forgot that was going to happen. Yeah, we're doing a little bit of a rename because our... it sounds so dumb to be circling like something so basic. But in our symbols, we realized... yeah, for like we were doing horizontal and vertical, and we realized it's not really sufficient. You kind of want like left and right and stuff like that. I think Anas might have messed this up. Let me see. Did he merge yet? It looks like he almost got it right. So should still be centered. Looks like rotate symbol still has one little bug. If the anchor position is top, middle, or bottom, middle, it doesn't change when you flip? Question mark. You're going through a lot. It's also announced I'm live. I'm live deving for an hour or so. This is going to be a very chill stream because I have music on. I always feel the need to fill the silence when I don't have music on, but when I have music on, I kind of relax a little bit. Awesome. Well, there's plenty of bugs to find. All right, let's see what our change here did. So yeah, we changed 1.2 to 1.5. Yeah, now we've got those thick plate. I really can't see how that'll backfire. So, oh my gosh, this one looks ridiculous. Oh, that is cringe. That's a pre-existing issue though. Dip 16 does that. That test might have a different bug. Okay. Why would this change? Let me check something. Yeah, I don't know. That might be a dependency update. Silk screen changed over here. I think it's correct now. I'm guessing it was too thin before. Anyway, looks good. I checked my work. That's why you don't push to main, folks. There's a whole Twitter discourse like, oh, if you're not pushing to main, you're not shipping fast enough. Which is a really dumb discourse because, like, okay, are you running all the checks locally? It's going to take a while. And then they're like, oh, you don't need checks. Wow. Like, you can't, I mean, you just can't expect to be, like, the checks aren't for, like, if you have one, like, super developer, maybe you can work without testing for a little while. Meaning, like, if you're working alone. Because you know how everything works. You're very particular. But if you have more than one person, you should definitely have testing. Do we have any PRs to review? Yeah, that's good. Net label. Oh, did somebody comment on this? Why does the schematic not have normalized labels? Are totally good there. What does he mean by that? Doesn't have normalized labels. Net label ankle for some capacitors is not correct. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Let's make that issue a little bit better. Save people some time. Oh boy, I'm losing my stuff. Okay, net label anchor is not correct. Oh, hey, what's up? Sorry, man. Total pins should have been 24 and evenly distributed on both sides. This is totally fine. Pin arrangement. Okay, so this is from SparkFun. That's fine. But then when you imported it, something wasn't fine. I feel like you need to include both screenshots. Okay. 1, 2, P ground 11. Okay, so the reason why it has more pins. So if you look at the chip itself, it looks like, whoa, what the heck? These are, it's like flipped how it got imported, which is fine. It's just JLC. But So, wow. Huh. I kind of hate that. There's no marking on this. This is like a terrible footprint from JLC. Also, Rashab, for what it's worth, when you save these, you probably want to give it like the manufacturer name. It's like a bug that we currently don't give it the manufacturer name. Of course, that can be changed, but yeah, this is the supplier name, so it's like it kind of doesn't make sense to have in the snippet title. I don't know why we're doing it. I should probably create a bug for it. I'll do that in a sec. But yeah, so there's 24 pins total, and then there's 25 here, but the fifth seems to not be anything. Yeah, yeah, for async work, right? When there's like so much time between when I see things and when they're filed, yeah. But I mean, you threw a screenshot in for like this one could have used a screenshot, because just for effort reasons, like, but this one's kind of interesting. This is actually, I think it's okay. I don't like 25 is the only weird one. Oh, wait, it's not evenly distributed. I think it's because there's 25. So like pin 25 should have basically been removed. What are they saying that pin is? Pin 10, pin 20. Wait a second. What is going on? Why are there? I feel like I'm losing my mind. There's only 24 here. I'm not sure what's going on. There's some issue, but it's not. It's like, I mean, actually, your issue is filed correctly because you're like, oh, this is what I was expecting, and it wasn't this. So your issue is good. Although it could have I think you did include the screenshot actually. So I think you're all good. Oh no, actually you didn't. So, like, correct version, incorrect version. It's literally just what is pin 25 doing there. I think that's the crux of it. Yeah. Why is there pin 25? But almost the way this is phrased, I thought it was like a layout issue, but it's not a layout issue. It's really just why is there pin 25? I think if you got rid of pin 25, like if for whatever reason core didn't make that pin, it would be fine. But yeah, no idea why. This looks so good. That sans serif font is doing a lot of work. When that was a serif font, that did not look good. Although, whatever they're using, I think this is Eagle. It does look pretty good in Eagle too. We should move the manufacturer part number down here. Actually, yeah, we should definitely do this. How they do it in Eagle, like, it's better than KiCad. I don't care. We'll still need this orientation because if you have pins on the top, you'll put it at the top right like this. But this looks way better. That's another good issue. What is that? Is that Circuit to SVG that handles that? Oh, for schematic boxes that only have pins on the left and right, put the the reference designator, in the top left and the manufacturer part number in the bottom left. I wish I had an example. Do we have an example where the manufacturer part number is there? By the way, also, when we import from JLC, the manufacturer part number should be there. That's another bug. Just doing product management. By normalization, I meant the schematic from SparkFun's chip don't have normalized pin labels, but we do. Oh, you mean the P ground 1? P ground 2? Oh, they like how they have a redundant label. Yeah, that's just bad. I think that's actually worse. Yeah. So Yeah, but that's like literally worse. I don't know. Like, okay, maybe what we could do in the future is like detect when we have this kind of thing and automatically remove it. But like like this is a specify, like for us in code, like you can't have one variable represent two things. Otherwise you're representing a net, which is fine, but you're representing a net. And so we'll have to have different syntax for that or something, but we have to normalize these. Yeah, that's a good point. I would say, you know, it's tough, but we should like I think the more specific terminology would be we have a suffix. So we have a suffix and they don't. On each of these pins, we add a suffix in normalization. I don't know. It's gonna, you know, it's like this is the problem when you're building a library, is like you have all this specific, very specific stuff going on. It's like hard to. We need words to communicate it. That's why if you go to a big company, they have like a million acronyms, because like every company does a ton of super specific stuff. Our normalization sucks though. Like peek around to 1.1, we need to have like an underscore. I think we just need an underscore. Do we have an issue for that? We can do that now that this is all living in core. Should add an underscore when enumerating the suffix. The suffix is just the end of the word. So instead of A11, B11, A1, or A1, or let's say this, A11, A12. I'm going to make it even more clear. Bad. Good. I'd created an issue for that. Okay. Oh, it's fixed normalizer function logic. Okay. Add underscore when. I don't actually know. It's not really a logic issue, to be pedantic. Pin label normalizer, add underscore when enumerating suffix. Okay, so we're done with that. Schematic boxes that only put ref devs top. Yeah. All right, we're gonna add some screenshots to this, and then we can correct version, correct placement, I'll say. Current placement. And then I kind of need, I don't know, maybe we have a snapshot or something that can represent that. But it's fine. Yours is more descriptive. Yeah, I think like, well, I edited yours for what it's worth, but so we kept your original issue. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's like RFC culture. I feel like we just gotta like get really, really good at writing. That's not to say I'm super good at it. I think I'm too brief a lot of the time, but you know, there's always a trade-off. There's like what should be the expectation for base level knowledge for the project, for example. Like, should people know what normalize means, or do we need to explicitly define that somewhere, or do we need to in every issue kind of review what it means, which you do have to do for some concepts, right? They don't come up enough. Normalization, we're only going to deal with it for, I don't know, a little while, depending on how long we draw it out. I'm looking for snapshots. Snap.svg. Let's see if we can find a example of it being drawn the way I don't like. This is probably, yeah, there we go. So I actually on a quad chip, this is fine. This is how it's supposed to be on a quad chip. Oh, actually, this is kind of wrong. This should go below. I bet when we flipped axes, that's another bug. Manufacturer part number should go below. It's endless. Yeah, I don't know if people know what quad pin layouts are. For four, I'll say four-sided. Switch location. I feel like if there was a really good visual AI, it could solve these issues. I mostly file visual issues because otherwise, you know, AI can do it pretty quickly. On our backend, I haven't filed issues just because anybody can kind of contribute to that. It's not a big deal. It's really easy. Correct placement current. Incorrect placement current. We will do... Yeah, the other thing I realized pretty recently is Easy EDA converter or JLC converter was adding like all this space between pins. Looks really bad. All right, let's finish up some issues. We got a lot of threads going on. I'll put a bounty on this one. We could put a bounty on... Click to copy. It doesn't work on snippets page. This is fixed now, I think. I haven't validated that it's fixed, but somebody PR'd this yesterday. All right, let's see if there's any new notifications. Pin headers, generating the pin on one side. What's this about? Pin headers, schematic rotation is not working. Oh, yeah, yeah. This should... another way that you can flip it is by changing facing direction equals right. Yeah, that is unfortunate. Look how thick this guy is too. Let's say pin header schematic boxes are too thick. We'll also bounty that at $5. These are more like tips. That's how I think about it. I don't think of the bounties as like you can like really like go crazy on them. It's like tips. Reward people who are helping out. Like buying coffees for people who are helpful. Okay. Okay, we talked about this. All right, I think we're done. I don't like to go through all the notifications because there's just too many. It's too hard. All right. Oof. Okay, let's jump in. What am I actually gonna code? Ooh. Yeah, this is another issue. I don't know why this is happening. Oh, but look how nice that looks now. What I'm excited about is this little outline. I spent a while thinking about how that should work. I don't know if it's like totally clean yet. Like I'm not 100% happy with it. And you know what's funny is this one, I really kind of wish it went on the left, not the right. Yeah, when these are close together, it's like impossible to read. But the fact that it is even readable at all, this is from, I believe this is Rishab's. So great job. Looks great. I don't know why this is happening. I also don't know what repo it's in. It could be in circuit to SVG. It could be in core, but there's kind of like a line being drawn through, and it ruins the drawing of the junction. It also looks like the junctions might be too wide, which is unfortunate. Yeah, we need we need more space, a little bit more space for the junction. But yeah, this one looks really bad. What is happening? Why is it drawing the junction like that? I don't know. Huh. It's interesting too, because it seems like way more prevalent on the right side than on the left. That could just be. And then we also have some stuff where it's kind of like digging into the chip readability. It's funny, you do one real schematic and all of a sudden you have like issues for a week. I think the junctions bother me the most right now because I don't understand it. So maybe I'll take a look at the junctions. Yeah. It's hard to debug it. Like, I don't even know really where to get started. So might be too difficult to find, but in theory there's an SVG element which might just kind of give us a little bit of context. I might need to add debug information as a data class to the SVG. There's a path. Yeah, this is pretty tricky to yeah, I don't think that's going to be debuggable. So true, so many bugs. I can spend the whole week fixing these. Absolutely. Bugs on bugs on bugs. It's pretty cool though. I mean, this looks pretty good. The net labels are there's a lot of proportion issues too. Like these net labels, they're slightly too big. We need to reduce the font size and reduce the size of it just because like clearly I mean it's almost readable. It's definitely readable. It's almost, I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe it's okay. It just, to me, it looks a little squished. It looks like it's just a little bit off. So there's like fine adjustments, and then I was thinking about building a bot that would create issues as I live streamed. It would just watch the stream, transcribe it, and then file things. Just because there's so many things. People ask for issues. I'm like, I mean, come on. This is a really weird path too. I'm looking at jumper pin 8. Kind of goes up here, goes around. That's a crazy path. So that's another interesting one. So this route is super complicated looking. Like it's got this thing, and you never see this in schematics. And the reason why is literally after you connect the first point, you don't need to continue this path, but this path is being continued all over the place because it's like, oh, I'm actually going somewhere else, and it goes all over the place. But yeah, these could be reduced pretty dramatically. All right, I really want to debug this junction issue. The thing is I don't have a reproduction, so I guess I'm going to mess around and try to get a reproduction for it for a little while. I don't know what else to do. The net labels for capacitor look backwards, if I had to guess. So that also looks like an easy one. If I'm in the area, in the code base, I will look into fixing that as well. But let's start with circuit SVG. Whoops, and try to create a reproduction. It feels bad obsessing over schematics because ultimately schematics are really a tool for that help us with our own weakness, which is like trying to understand electronics. Because if you, in theory, if you write all your code perfect, you're going to have a functional PCB and you can just order it. So like when we spend time on schematics, it's like, okay, we're just kind of spending time. It's almost like sometimes internally companies will build tools to make everybody more productive. We're basically doing that with schematics. It's basically our tool to make us more productive. I switched up some of my stuff lately, and for streaming, and something I'd like to do is throw a compressor on my voice. I'm gonna do this live, which I probably shouldn't do, but let's see. Should I do this now? I don't know. I'll do it later. I don't like it when audio levels aren't consistent. Okay. So we need to try to reproduce this junction. So we're going to create a test that just has a bunch of wires flying all over, and then we'll reduce it. We could also take Rishab's thing, but I think that one is an over reproduction. There's so many. So I'm going to try to get a more minimal reproduction. Also trying to think where the bug likely is. If the bug is more likely in core or is more likely in circuit SVG. I think it's more likely in core. So actually, let's do a reproduction in core. Core is like the main, is the core of TS circuit. Computes most things. And then circuit SVG is responsible for drawing. I kind of doubt it's a drawing issue, but we'll find out when we go for reproduction. Let's go right to the AI. We will add our docs directory so it kind of gets the gist of the project. We'll add our tests directory. We're trying to reproduce an issue related to junctions being drawn incorrectly. Please create a test with a chip with 8 pins and a bunch of connections to resistors on its left and right. Set schematic X, schematic X, schematic Y appropriately. Okay. Hey, what is the bug? The bug is, well, that's generating. The bug is these junctions aren't being drawn correctly. So they're supposed to look like this. Actually, this has both types. So this is a correct junction. It's very clear what's going on. It's hopping over this other wire. And this one, for some reason, a line gets drawn through it. So that's what we're fixing. Yeah. And we're going to have AI bootstrap a little test for us. Okay. I'm laughing because I think it generated a test with no junctions somehow, which is like kind of hard to do. Okay. This is unnecessary. Okay, left side resistors. Yeah, that's fine. That looks like it should produce junctions for sure. Let's get a snapshot. So we're going to do a snapshot test so we can see the result. I need to, I think, adjust my setup for streaming. There we go. Okay, we run the test. It gives us a snapshot file. We go to our browser, paste in that URL. Oh, we've got some messed up junctions here. Wow, okay. Looks like we didn't need the right side at all. There's a bunch of bugs here. If these are connected, they should have a green circle. All right. Oof. Woof. This side, yeah, I mean, if these are connected, and it kind of looks like they're connected, it should have a green. Oh, these aren't junctions. Sorry, these are crossings. Okay, but anyway, all right, very strange. Let me just do a quick bun install and update circuit to SVG just to make sure all of our dependencies are all good. Yeah, all right. All right, so we've definitely got a messed up thing going on here. This is like even a different type of bug, I would say. We can fix this one first, but these lines are really close together, so they should be automatically spread apart. But they apparently didn't meet the threshold in our like thing that detects if two schematic lines are too close together. So let's see if we can fix that. Okay, so schematic traces, there should be something like push edges of schematic trace to prevent overlap. Okay, so we'll do that. And then, yeah, there's this line thickness. Let's increase that. Margin. Okay, cool. So the snapshot changed. Yeah, there we go. All right, that was an easy one. I don't know what else that messed up. We'll find out when we do the PR. We'll see all the things that messed up. But that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that. Yeah, a couple strange things still. One is this not connecting its last segment. I'm bewildered. But we've got a really good reproduction, a very simple reproduction with R2, R3 that I don't think impacts any, like nothing else is related to it. So we're going to remove all the traces except for R2, R3 in our test. Okay. Okay, we'll make this more simple as we go, but let's just make sure. Yeah, we still have the bug, so we'll keep simplifying the reproduction. I think those traces aren't related. Those are left side traces. Okay. Keep simplifying the reproduction. We're going to remove R5, R6, R7, R8. That's going to be pretty simple. Okay. Yeah, we could get even crazier. When you simplify, it tends to make everything easier. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try to reduce this to a 4-pin chip because when you're like logging, you don't have as much stuff to deal with. Okay, so I'm gonna change this to in1, in2. I might be taking this too far. In1, in2. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, yeah, it doesn't really get better than that. That's a great repro. So like if you're doing PRs for issues, if you want to like get yourself sort of a guaranteed bounty but give yourself more time, just create the repro in a PR and you can kind of lock in yourself for that bounty. I'm trying to formalize that a little bit, but we want to actually pay more people for just creating simplified reproductions. Because look how much time I spent. I mean, how long's the streaming going on for? 40 minutes. Probably spent 20 minutes just getting a repro. So it's huge. It's sometimes more effort than the fix. Often, I would say. I think it has to do with the direction. Like if you're going down, it works. If you're going up, it doesn't work. That's my hunch. Let's do a work in progress commit now. Do I have a branch for this? Let's put on a branch. Crossing issue. And I like to create a draft PR. Fix crossings being drawn incorrectly. We could actually possibly PR this just with the repro. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. But instead of fix, we're going to say reproduce crossings being drawn incorrectly. Increase parallel wire spacing. Okay. I think I'm surprised no other test fails, but I guess that's fine because of that other change. But okay. Increase parallel wire spacing. Yeah, looks good. So now people are going to see, the cool thing about this is now that we've merged a repro with this SVG, when somebody fixes it, they're going to see in the subsequent PR the diff. It's going to be a visual diff that just shows that that wire is fixed. So it'll be pretty cool. Okay. Oh, hi. Bye. All right. So now we can pull main because that guy got merged in. And we'll do the fixed crossing. Okay, what do we got? So create schematic, trace crossing segments. So this is what creates small segments that represent the crossing. So wherever there's an intersection, we're going to take the, let's see. Yeah, this could be it, how this is being computed. It seems like it doesn't care about the direction. So that seems very likely that that's the issue, that there's no vector there for the direction. We could confirm that in test. Oh, also, this sucks. I think the test name we created, I think it might have had junctions in the name. Yeah, schematic junction rendering schematic. That's not good. This is not really a junction test. Okay, we're going to rename that. But it's going to mess up our snapshot. Let's see. Schematic crossing rendering. It's more of a reproduction too. I don't know. It's fine. And crossing rendering with reproduced bad crossing upward. Yeah, okay, so let's remove the old snapshot SVG for now. And hopefully GitHub picks up that we mostly renamed the file. I don't know if it will. Might present it as a new file. Either way, they'll both appear in the PR. It's just a little worse. All right. Yeah. It'll have to do. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we could jump in with our fix. I think it might be better to understand the data. It's like get all schematic traces. Should have 2 traces in here. So you have 2 sets of edges. One of those sets of edges is going to have a crossing. So we could say trace with crossing equals traces.find trace, where trace.edges.sum edge has is crossing. So now we have our trace with crossing. Yeah, and then I think if we just kind of inspect these edges, we're going to be able to see what I'm saying. This is possibly undefined. No, it's not. Yeah, it's hard to visualize these things, but let's take it step by step. I'm like going through it a little slowly. I have a hunch on what the solution is, but it's good to take it step by step. So we're saying from x -2, y 0.5, and you can tell from these giant numbers that that's about the right spot. 2, -2.3, 0.05. That's like over here, maybe. I'm not sure if it's here. So that's a little ambiguous. But then the next one is the crossing. So we're saying the crossing goes up. Yeah, I think what's happening, this is hard to represent, but I believe is happening is it goes all the way down here, it draws the junction here, and then it goes back down again, if that makes sense. So that's kind of the crux of the issue, is it decides to go down for the intersection point. Yeah, so we'll fix that. Say crossing vac, dir vac, even unit dir vac. Yeah. I'm always looking for new ways to like represent these things very cleanly. You have the last point of the edge. Let's see, does it already exist somewhere? You have other edge. Yeah. So edge.2 would represent the last point. Last, let's say, drawn point. And then you want to get essentially the vector from that to the intersection point. So I might need to zoom in. I might need some space for this diagram. Actually, let's do it in Excalidraw. So we'll take a screenshot and do it in Excalidraw. I'm going through it slow. It's a Tuesday, so one step at a time. Yeah, let's draw over this. Did I make this big enough? Yeah, okay, cool. Good size. So this is going to be our edge.from. This is going to be our edge.to. And then this is our other edge.from. We actually don't know. It could be either or. It's something like this. These could be swapped, the other edge ones, but I don't think it matters. Let's make these a little bigger. And then we compute these junction points. I think, how are these in the code? This is before crossing and after crossing. So right now, this is before crossing, and this is after crossing. If my mental math was right, or my understanding of all those points we read earlier. So we want to flip these, and what I'm saying is, we're going to start to need other colors. This is the intersection point, or the crossing point, or what did I call it? What's that in the code? Crossing point. I guess there's a couple ways to get it. Hold on, I got some Slack notifications here. Let's see. Do we have a review? We've got a couple PRs we can dig into. So we'll come back to this in a sec. Let's do some PRs. Okay. All of these don't look right, man. You got to create a playwright test. A playwright test for this. Issue isn't your code yet. The issue is the relative size of the window. Playwright tests ensure that the dimensions are known. They're better than screenshots. It should be easy to make for this one, and will ensure future people don't break it. Refactor, search text. Why are multiple people working on this? What? I feel like I'm losing my mind. Playwright tester. Yeah, we're requiring playwright tests for this one. Yeah. Let's see if there's no updates on this yet. Do we have any others? Is that it? Error handling for missing footprints. This is a big one. Oh, this one hasn't been updated. Okay. All right, back to it. So what I'm suggesting is we calculate the unit vector. I guess if this is edge.to, because, yeah, we confirm this is edge.from, so this must be edge.to. So actually, I think we want to, I guess that's why you do these diagrams. So we want to compute the vector from edge.from. So we'll, so this is the unit vector cross, from, oh man, variable naming is tough for this stuff. From to crossing. Oh, that sounds terrible. I think we can call it the crossing unit vector because it's the same as the crossing unit vector. It's kind of drawn here too, but these are equivalent. If I put it here versus here, they're the same. We can just draw both. Okay, so we're going to compute this crossing unit vector, and then we're going to say to get the new edge.2, to get that new point you're computing, you take the crossing point and you subtract the crossing unit vector from it, rather than just subtracting. So we should have a function that's like get unit, get direction. Yeah, I've been meaning to make some more math utils for this kind of stuff because this is such a common operation to take 2 points and get the unit vector. Yeah, do I not have that? Maybe we add that to math utils. It's just such a common graphics operation. I recently switched from tabs to just using this open editors thing because I was just sick of it. I had tab fatigue. All right. Let's create a new file. We'll call it get unit vector. Get unit vector from point A to B. I feel like that's a pretty good name. Yeah. Okay, so that's definitely a good one to have. Another thing we do a lot is get unit vector from direction. So I feel like that's a pretty good one to have. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That might cover most of the things I need. There's definitely other stuff we could add, but we'll leave it there for now. Okay, we'll export that. Trying to figure out if this project automatically publishes. I think it does. It's weird. It has format bot, but a lot of the files aren't formatted. So I'm like, what's going on? All right, so add unit vector functions. Run our test suite. I'm going to push them in. That's why I want to run the test suite. Oh. I might have to do a PR. Okay. You know, usually with graphics problems, people like mess around for a while. They just like try things and then look at it. And that's kind of a trap. Like you usually want to make a diagram. you want to make sure you understand every variable, and the naming is critical. That's my take. People don't spend enough time just like diagramming things out. Yeah, I mean, I started programming with like game development. That was like the first thing I did. So I definitely did that whole just mess around, play with numbers, and you do that with web dev too. It's like for websites, that is the best way to work. Like, okay, last drawn point, crossing point. So now we have the crossing unit vector. So we should be able to adjust how we compute this before crossing. So it has handling for vertical and horizontal, which does simplify things a little bit. But you don't need that when you have the unit vector. You can just add the unit vector or subtract the unit vector. So I'm going to see if I can just remove it. We'll say before crossing equals crossing point dot x. So we'll subtract the unit vector from the first one. We're going to multiply it by the crossing segment length. And then dot y minus. It's kind of cleaner than having like the ternaries, but it's definitely a bit harder. Like you definitely can't. You have to understand a unit vector, I guess, which is not as common knowledge as I'd like. Okay. All right, let's try it. That's our test. Okay. Ran the test. Let's see what the result is. Okay, so we made it bigger. That makes sense. Still having the issue with the lines. So, but our math, at least for computing the junction, was correct. So you can see before it divides it by 2. We forgot to divide it by 2 because we're like, each side is essentially moving like this. Okay, so I'm going to remove this ghost code because I'm pretty sure those are computed correctly and we have a different issue. Either that or we need to reverse before crossing and after crossing. I just have from before crossing. So if we look at the vector here that has is crossing, we would expect after crossing to be below, so have a lower y position. It does not. Let's log this crossing unit vector. The crossing unit vector should have a negative y. Whoops. Has a positive y. From A to B. From A, last drawn point, to B. Did I do this function wrong? From A to B. Like, we could just flip this and be done, but I want to know why. Oh, interesting. Negative 2.4, negative 2.4. The crossing point is above this guy. So it's actually coming from below. So the line is being drawn. It starts here. I had the order backwards. It's just confusing to me, but But anyway, this is the first point. This is the last point. So the crossing vector should be up, which makes sense. Before crossing should be below. I'm just looking at this. Negative 2.3. We go down and we go back up again. So this before crossing, it really seems like after crossing and before crossing is reversed. The crossing unit vector is y positive. So we're subtracting the y from the before crossing. So let's test, but I want to revert it. Let's test the theory where we invert the, yeah. So I think this would break. We might have to add in some other resistors. I think this will break if we have more crossings. It's my hunch. Like if we have crossings in the other direction. One way to test this, I think. So currently the R3 is doing the crossing. So let's copy this. And we'll literally just invert the to and the from. I don't know, maybe that works. Oh, I don't like not understanding why the unit vector is the opposite of what I think it is. But if it works in both directions, it's hard to complain. Last drawn point, it should be that. I think that's why. The last drawn point, I think I didn't put that on my diagram too. Yeah. Last drawn point. This is kind of the crux of it. What's the last drawn point? And we were saying it was edge.to, which would invert the vector. So if we say edge.from is, this should fix it and still make all the directions make sense. So yeah, there we go. Okay. Let's invert it back, make sure it makes sense. Ideally, I would have a test for both of these. It's also not finishing this route, which is really annoying. So I'd also like to look into that. But I think we fixed the junction thing. Pretty happy about that. We do need to check XY junctions. So I think, I could be wrong, but schematic traces do this order drawing. Yeah, so, I want to try to get them to cross in the X direction here. How can I do that? I almost just want to create a ton of junctions. But anyway. We'll keep it simple and just do the fix for this one because it's a really clean snapshot update. Probably be a good idea to put an assertion in there, but yeah, why doesn't this trace clean itself up? It's so annoying. We've got a update on this PR. LEDs now has up, left, right, down. Okay. The LED is actually one that needs to change how it works. Yeah, okay. So the LED needs slight customization. The arrows indicating the light that is emitted always need to point up. You can modify the result of rotate symbol to flip the arrows, I think. All right, let's do this. Let's update all the snapshots. I'm also seeing do initial. I think I have a log line that got trapped in here. Console.log. Yeah, we got some log lines in here. Let's remove this. Remove this. I was like, why is this test logging so much? Okay. And then, yeah, it looks like a bunch of snapshots updated. So we can check those snapshots to see, hopefully, that crossings and other kind of orientations work properly. Crossing direction calculation is what we'll say. Fix this visual bug. Okay. So this snapshot clearly is now in a good place. We can see the junction being drawn bad there, being drawn good here. Let's see. Yeah, do we have any other updates to junctions? Here's one that was fixed. We could do the swipe. Yeah. So that's definitely better. It's probably worth merging this improvement, even though like this not connecting is kind of annoying. So maybe I'll fix that next. Checking the sizes, making sure we're not increasing the bundle size too much. Okay. So I think we can move on to this guy not connecting. I might have gotten a comment on GitHub. Nope. Okay. What's going on here? Get port.ts. I got to get Stalebot set up on that repo. There's so many old PRs just hanging about. Okay. Last edges sometimes don't connect to the ports because the autorouter is within the goal box and doesn't finish the route. Add a stub. Get dominant direction, last edge. Oh, interesting. From and to. This is basically the function I wanted in the math utils thing. Okay. Get stub edges. Edges before stubs. Stubs. We can check out main too. Get the latest stuff. All right. Looks good. Keep it up. Yeah, what up, Eric? From LinkedIn. I forgot I was streaming to LinkedIn. Yeah, I don't know, like, I don't know what people use LinkedIn for. This is probably not the correct content profile for it. It's probably for like webinars, but appreciate it. I don't know if you can like sabotage your LinkedIn. Like, do people worry about that? After not posting for like 10 years, and then suddenly there's like a live stream like once a week or something. From and to stubs. Interesting. Oh, this is hard to read. Let's make it a little nicer to read. Oh, whoops. What is this? Oh, righto. Yeah. Okay. So we'll table that, and then we'll do the same thing for stubs. Nice. All right, that should be easier to read. Ooh. Yeah, so we've got 2 traces, and then these are each of the edges in those traces. We can make this even more readable, just reduce visual noise by doing 2 fixed on it. All right, less colorful, but more readable. Let's see if I can draw out the mental intuition for this. Or the visual, spatial intuition. So only one of these is relevant. How do we determine which one is the relevant set? This one has 2 points. This one has more points because of the crossing. So it's going to be the one with more. So this bottom one. You know what? Claude can probably do this. I just realized. Yeah, I think so. Let's see. I think it is easier to read. Convert this into an SVG. So hopefully we can see the difference between the stub and the edges. And then we can figure out why the stub is not drawn here. It kind of looks like the stub is there. One thing is this is going to be inverted. I could tell Claude that the y-axis needs to be inverted, but that's just the way it is. So we can see the crossing. It's actually pretty good. So that's the crossing. That's where the little jump is. That actually looks right. Huh. Something, there is something, yeah, stub, okay. It's weird that the stub has 2 edges as part of it. It should only have 1, I think. And then this, you don't really see that in the Claude visual. Can you invert the y-axis? Positive y is up. And draw an small X overlay. They already kind of have the circles. And draw a small X at each point. X is a little bit better than a circle, I think, for readability. But there's at least 3 distinct points here. Oh, wait. No. Oh, this is the same. I'm wrong. This last point of the stub is the same point, so it's just nonsense, yeah. Okay. All right. Why is this still backwards? It looks like the x-axis is... Am I crazy? No, the x-axis is also negated. I don't know what's going on with that. Okay. I don't love it. Whatever. So, okay, so if there is an edge there, get stub edges. I guess maybe it's so 1, 2. There's 3 turns. Does Claude show 3 turns? Oh, wait a second. Oh, all right. This is being drawn real crazy, but there's supposed to be 3 turns, and there's only 2. So it's got to have something to do with, like it's going. Where is the second red X? It's being covered up. Make all the X's at 50% transparency. So hopefully we can uncover a hidden red X. I don't know. I think Claude's messing up. It says here there's one at negative 1.3. Let's try this over. Draw every data point from this table at 50% transparency. Draw the edges at 50% transparency. Label the coordinates of each point. It's giving us a grid. Should be a little bit better. It's not an issue, but I don't love how there's like an extra edge that does nothing. How is that possible? Oh, I know why. If the last movement... It's... Yeah, okay. I don't know why. It's like it always wants to do a right angle. To create a right angle, you always need 2 points. But you don't want to add an edge if it's this, or yeah, you don't want to add an edge if the from and to are on the same point. So that's kind of, so what it does is it goes to, this is going to be impossible to explain without a diagram. And I already have too many diagrams going on. Okay, I kind of fucked up. Make stub edges or points blue or green. Anyway, it should definitely be turning. I'm trying to prove a point that it goes in like the wrong direction somewhere. It's crazy because I thought this was tested, but maybe it's not tested for a certain type of orientation. One-fifth as big. Claude sucks, man. What is going on? Look, you've got negative 2.37 over here, then negative 1.3, then negative 1.5. So it's just treating the negative, like, wait, actually, no, that's fine. It just drew the coordinate axis in a weird place. Still sucks a little. Man, it's so strange that this is, like, inverted. I'm losing my mind. Maybe I shouldn't be relying on Claude so much. Oh, it could be that this is the stub edge and this isn't the stub edge. That might actually explain a lot. Invert the y-axis. The points are correct and should be drawn such that y-axis up is positive. Thank you. All right. I think I've put it together. So we want to stub the beginning, not the end here. So the auto router that figures out how these traces should be routed must have given us the wrong edge as the last edge. So basically we're stubbing out the wrong side. That's what's going on. Wow, that was yeah. All right, everything makes sense now. So we're putting a stub on this side, and we might even need a stub there, because I don't see any issues. So it looks like we do need a stub there, but we also, for whatever reason, we need a stub at the beginning as well. We should do that post-processing step to remove the useless stub before we forget what all of this data means. If edges.length is equal to 2, it always is, but just to check. Get distance between points. It's less than 0.01, something like that. Do I have this function defined? Oof. This is another one that should be in math utils. Might already be there. Distance. It's just called distance. Yeah, it's pretty clean. If that's a useless edge, pop it. So when we run this test, we should only get one stub edge now. Yeah, we only have one. And that should have no visual effect. So no visual effect. All right, let's make a stub edge for the other side. So we'll say the first last edges don't connect. And then I guess I'll remove all my debugging stuff, because I think I want to like do this section twice essentially. And yeah, it's just going to be first edge, first edge, first edge. Ooh. Okay, we'll have to do some refactoring there, but let's see how that goes. I think it should be okay. Did it work? Ooh, not quite. Hmm. Must be something. It's just like an ordering thing. Hmm. Yeah, I think the ordering inverts. Ah. We can test that theory before we start refactoring. So for each edge, we're just gonna swap the from and the to. Does that fix it? Ooh, somehow that breaks everything. Hmm. Let's log out our edges. So nice thing about cursor is it usually remembers your deleted code. Yeah, there we go. All right, Claude, do your magic. Now draw this. So we unshifted to the beginning. So these are the stub edges. Yeah, I think I get it. It's really about switching the from and to of this one. I think. Oh, whoops. So the stub is drawn correctly, but then the next edge, it looks like I might need to stop messing around. All right. That's pretty crazy. We don't do like any diagonal rendering, so the fact that he was able to get that to happen. Okay. Let's see what Claude said about all these points. Oh, I accidentally gave it both edges, but let's see. We can still piece it apart. So all the points were correct, it looks like. Now we have that notch there. We have that going in. So yeah, it must literally be something with the from to ordering or the order or something like that. Because that's correct. I'm trying to figure out how to put the stub edges into the edges array without messing up the ordering. So yeah, okay. So if you reverse the order before you do it. Okay. Not sure I love this bit of math though. But what we can do is we can kind of like tuck it away in implementation a little bit. So we'll say first edge port, have it accept both kind of types. Like this. This is some dumb TypeScript stuff that you have to do to make sure it doesn't freak out, with your selection of parameters. We have to say that, oh, it's definitely going to be undefined. Don't worry. Do the same thing here. Okay. So we're going to tuck away that kind of gnarly implementation. So if first edge and first edge port, then we're going to say return get stub edges last edge, first edge, blah, 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 dot reverse, and flip the edges. And I'll leave a comment to. Oh, we also need first dominant direction. It's a little gnarly. This is like if you come from JavaScript land, like you would do gnarly stuff all the time, and you didn't have to write out the types. So like you would do stuff like this and not really think about it, and then when you write out the types, you realize this is really bad. But that's kind of why TypeScript is so great, because these patterns do tend to be like really ergonomic. It's just for library authors, you kind of know how bad it is. But I'm kind of a believer in ergonomics over type difficulty sometimes. Okay. Did I define this right? First, blah, blah, blah. Yep. First, yep. Why is it complaining about this? Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. All right, so we've tucked away the madness, and it looks pretty clean now. So get stub edges. You can give it first edges or last edges. It'll figure it out. Okay. Good. Wow, that was harder than I thought. It doesn't help that like web decided that y going upward would be negative, like screen space coordinates. That is unfortunate for like the translation between Cartesian coordinates all the time when you're always converting and it's really easy to flip something. But you know, I get it. I get why they did it. Okay. Call it fixed stub edges. We'll do a PR for this. This will probably change some other. So yeah, that's a pretty good snapshot test right there. I love that. But something will probably fail, like because other snapshots are probably impacted by this. So let's just run a quick. Somebody. Okay, now we've got more crossing edges, so we'll definitely want to take a look at this. I'll just comment that out, run that test, and then we'll look at the snapshot to see how it changed and if that change was correct or not. It's saying that there's 2 crossing edges now. I actually do not see 2 crossing edges. Right? Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at the crossing edges. That does seem strange. Yeah, and they're the same coordinates. So it's like a duplicate. Yo, Zohabe, what up? How's it going? Yeah, that's pretty weird that we now have a duplicate of this edge. None of the stub edges are labeled crossing. So, I don't know. Let's look at the PR. What else did I change that might have impacted that? That's a head scratcher. Implicitly has return type any because it doesn't have a return type annotation. Oh, that's new. because I don't have a return type annotation. Oh, it doesn't like the recursive sort of call here. It's like, oh, we can find the base case. I don't have it like having junk data, so I think we should actually address this. Let's log the traces and see if there's anything kind of obviously wrong, like a duplicate trace. Where's this log line coming from? Oh, right here. Is that right? Okay. Is crossing there. And then where's the other is crossing? Oh, there it is. Okay, I think I understand. So when we create a new crossing segment, that's very strange. So I could definitely see the stub having some impact on this line. So we can see when we remove the stub what happens. Also, if this is just an aesthetic issue, maybe I can create a new issue just to solve that. But they're both kind of aesthetic issues. I would say this is not as bad one. I think I have a GitHub notification here. Let's see. No, I do not. I have a lot of bot notifications. It's hard to parse them out. So let's say I comment out the initial stub calculation. The other, The other thing that might be happening, but I don't know why it would be newly introduced. But like, I think there might be lines over each other on this one. And if there's lines that kind of are over each other, there could be two exact same crossings because, yeah, and I think that's probably it. So because there's actually a couple lines in here that are sort of hidden, then it's computing two crossings. So I think what's happening is there's actually two lines overlapped here because of the stub edges that were added. Oh my gosh. I keep running the full suite. I just mean to run this. All right. In that case, I think what we can do, since we have let's see if we have the last edge, I think there's some way to say, like this edge is like useless. We already said this edge is useless because like I think we can really remove any edge where this condition applies. Let's change this to a let, and then we'll say edges equals edges filter where there's, it's really not doing anything. And I'll say if the last edge it's like if the stub goes over the last edge, like it's whatever. This might be enough though. This might be enough. Let's see. Nah, it's not enough. It's so funny how long you can spend on this stuff. That's annoying that it's not giving me all the information. Let's do this. Okay. We need to figure out which stub is our stub. So our stub is at 0.5. So x is 0.5-ish. That one's around x 0.5. Oh, I guess is this guy also? Yeah, this guy's also at 0.5. So y -2. Yeah, -1. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Oof. All right, let's if last edge dot y dot 2 dot y. Is that right? From dot y. Let's do some more diagrams. Yeah, let's ask Claude to do it. I'll be lazy. Okay, visualize these points. Yeah, the stub is crazy on this one. Huh. They both... Oh, they're both the same? Yeah, huh. Yeah, they're both the same, but in opposite directions. Makes me think this little hack. So I'm guessing this issue goes away if I remove this hack, right? Yeah, of course it does. All right. I mean, I did have this theory that you had to invert this edge too, but it is passing now. but let's check the more important. Let's check that we actually fix something now. I forgot the name of the test. Schematic crossing. Okay. Bun test. This guy. Open up our SVG. It still works. All right. I think that's it. I think I forgot to copy something over. That's a hack. I'll add a comment that's like, this is an empirically verified hack to avoid doing the math for first edges. Yeah. All right, now we're passing. Cool. This is in core. Go to that PR. So we're going to look at the snapshots and just make sure nothing else got messed up. Generally, everything should look better. We don't have a junction there, which is very strange. But that's not new, so... I'm just going to bounty this issue because it's not really a big one. Most people don't draw junctions. Most schematic tools don't draw junctions anyway. So missing junction point in example 5. I'm going to have bounties auto increase over time in the future. I'm very excited for that. Like, so yeah. So eventually, you know, they'll cross into the... I think that's the best way to calibrate, right? Nobody wants to do it, then it's like a very natural market mechanism for bounties. Oh, I'm so excited to merge this in and see... what started this whole thing is we were looking at this guy and thinking, wow, this is very, very hard to read. So the net labels we didn't fix. That would be really great to fix because that's just terrible. So that'd be really great to fix. I also need to build... I forgot about this. We need to build the build materials view. So snippets, bill of materials view in preview content. Add drop-down menu for extra views. Put JSON and BOM inside. I'm going to assign this one on myself. I think it's too complicated for other people to do. It would take too long. Yeah, these are pretty bad. That sucks because we're really close to like this being usable other than these. There's also a lot of traces, so like these can be removed. I don't know how we're going to do that yet. Yeah, and you also have stuff where like this schematic trace is going through these pins. That's supposed to not be possible. Okay. Well, anyway, let's get this updated to see how it looks after all of our changes. So we'll open up this snippets project. And then it's just a dependency update. So bun update latest TS circuit core. Stuff should happen automatically, but it's kind of all turned off right now, our automatic updates. We'll turn it back on. Yeah, we just need to drop in a renovate file. We could add renovate in this PR. So renovate configs, these are how you get things to auto update. It's really hard to read. This one is saying, even though it says like enabled false, what it's saying is like you should update all of them and you should auto merge anything with the TS circuit prefix. Because what it's saying is exclude TS circuit from auto update, exclude package patterns. So we can add circuit to SVG in there as well. So now these will update maybe every 4 hours or something. Honestly, it's a little annoying with the frequency at which it updates things. I think you can reduce it. It's weird because when you want it immediately, but then when it's happening in the background, it's too many PRs. Core add automatic package update system via renovate. We'll see. We'll see if it gets annoying. It was annoying on other repos. We published 300 versions of TS circuit, the CLI and everything. Then it was like, nobody's using each small version that gets released. We don't need this cadence. It's running Playwright, which is the browser automation. Unfortunately, the stuff doesn't work in the Vercel preview. I forget why, though. Maybe some of it does? Oh, yeah, huh. Some of it does. You just can't log in. Oh, so we can actually look at it, right? Is this it updated? Why are there still bugs? I can't tell if it's better or the same. Wait, this looks the same. There's no fixes. New deployment is available. Okay. I might have, was I, oh, I didn't merge. Too eager. It's pretty cool that core is so small. I mean, when you install it, it's 13 megabytes, but actually it's going to be closer to 7. And then the main package itself is only 500 kilobytes. Yeah, we gotta strike a balance between all the big three: performance. We gotta be fast, like the code has to run fast, has to be small, easy to use. Aria Jenny, what up? How's it going? We're doing coding. Tuesday morning coding until I get hungry and decide to eat breakfast. My headphones aren't working right now. Can you chat instead? No, definitely not. I don't even know how to chat. I don't even know how to send chat. But what game do I stream the most? You might be a bot. You might be a bot, Jenny. We're clearly coding. Oh, that is what a bot would say. A bot would be like, "Hey, can you chat?" Because, you know, that real-time transcription. What is Jenny trying to sell us? Okay, version 00170. So we'll do our update and hope it's fixed. I'm a little worried now. Maybe we didn't fix enough cases. Because even in 169, I'm pretty sure some of these crossings should have been fixed. Concerned. Vercel will give me a little pop-up that I can refresh when it's ready. That is concerning, though. Maybe my reproduction wasn't good enough. I feel like we fixed it. Yo, Rohit, what up? Are you Rohit Codes? Nice work on the recent contributions, if so. We're fixing this schematic view has a lot of like really bad, like these look really bad. They're supposed to be like little wire hops, but there's like stuff going through them. So that's the main objective. I'm also going through people's PRs if they post them. So. All right, let's see how we made out on this fix. I don't know. That's kind of hard to believe that it's still, there are no fixes out of that. Everything is the same. Oh, wait. One of them is fixed. Oh, that's very strange. So this is the old version. And when we look at these four, one of them is fixed. They all inverted. This bottom one is fixed. But they all inverted. So we really did just fix one case and not the general case. It doesn't look very good when you have like I almost want to reduce the size of this white space because it doesn't look very good when you have two crossings like that next to each other. It might be okay, but it looks a little strange to me. I think we have to bring that in a little bit. That's an easy one though. That's just a parameter. This one, the crossing drew incorrectly. Looks like a mess to me. Understand 0, confused 100%. Yeah, I agree. I mean, this side is really bad. This side is like really bad, right? Yeah. It's because of when there's a parallel line, I think it grows to the left. And so it got very bad over here. It's supposed to grow to the right. If it grew to the right, it would have been fine. But it grew to the left. Like right here, it's slightly more organized because it grew to the right. But yeah, I agree. Wow, that's disappointing. We didn't make much progress. We fixed like 1 point. Let's look at this. Let's look at this before and after. Did anything get fixed here? Nothing got fixed here. It looks like all these orientations are wrong, maybe. Wow. That's crazy. I've been streaming for 2 hours and we worked on that fix for most of it. And like, okay, there's one fix here. So we definitely fixed one case. But it looks like there's many more. I think whenever you have junctions that are too close together, it definitely gets messed up. Or crossings too close together. This is hard for me to figure out. I don't know exactly what's going on here. All right, we got to do more reproductions and see if we can get these bad states. Let me ask you a question. What is the best way to resolve a bug? What's the best way to resolve a bug? What's the bug? What? That question needs a lot more context. Yeah, this feels to me like an orientation issue for some reason. So our change flipped this. Who knows why? But our change flipped this one, but it's still wrong. So I think that's like a really big one to recreate. Okay. Wow. Disappointing, but that's the grind. Back to it all over again. Just reproduce, find another. Schematic rotation is not working for the diode for the rotated component test. Can I just give it a simple proper name with diode down for the test, or should it work? Okay. If you use schematic rotation. Yeah, that needs to be built in. That's like a whole... What file is this? Horrors. This is like a file that deals with getting the correct symbol for orientation. But where is that? Can I copy the permanent link to this? Hell yeah. This is the relevant file. We basically should PR a fix that handles the up, down, left, right stuff inside that function. It's so funny. Absy's been really chasing a fix for like something really simple. He's like, I want to draw an LED. Spirals out of control. All right. Let's get a new test going on. Ader did pretty good last time for generating a test for bootstrapping, so we'll ask it to bootstrap again. Bootstrap a test that has a central chip with, let's say, 16 pins and resistors oriented on the left and right side of it. Make lots of random connections. Just say it's a feature. What did I say? He's like trying to do a thing. Yeah. He's working on a feature of some kind. Everything is a bug. Everything is a bug. When like you have enough vision, everything is just a bug, because if you know how everything is supposed to look. Left and right side of it, make lots of random connections. We're trying to reproduce into a schematic test and do bootstrap a schematic snapshot test, let's say. Okay. I'm at a standing desk, by the way. Not to, try to impress anyone or anything, but I've been standing for 2.5 hours. For people who work in retail, that's not impressive at all. Oh, we did get a good reproduction here. Oof. I've also been wondering about this, where it kind of like goes off the face of the planet. And then for some reason, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, oof. Oh, so many bugs here. I might just commit this as like a general purpose reproduction. Like, why do I feel like I don't see any junctions? There's no junctions in this. We'll call this the big crossing test. Yeah, let's remove the snapshot because I'm going to rename the test. We'll call it complex schematic crossings. Can you give me money, but in return takes your hair? Do you mean like grows my hair? Oh, give me a haircut? Yeah, I probably need a haircut. Whenever people make fun of streamers' hairs, I think of there's this guy Farza who ran this program called Build Space, and they raised a ton of money. I want to say they were Y Combinator backed and a couple other things. Anyway, they raised a bunch of money and they seemed to be doing okay. But then he was just like, but people on the stream would always make fun of his hair, how he's balding. And then he announced like, yeah, I'm just not motivated to do build space anymore. And I was like, yeah, you know, I think that got to him a tiny bit, at least a tiny bit. I think he definitely felt underappreciated for what he was doing based on my very few interactions with him. All right. Complex crossings reproduction. I'm debating putting just a super thick bounty on this and then going and doing something else. Because like I could spend all day in this friggin' math. It could be just one thing. It's not that complex. It's probably just one or two things. This side looks pretty good. It's a couple issues, but okay. Fix all the crossing issues in the below screenshot. See trace.ts. Try asking ChatGPT. ChatGPT may give you some solution. I mean, I'm using like the Aider thing I'm using here is pretty like state of the art. If you go to Aider Chat or the Aider LLM leaderboards, I'm using a model better than everything ChatGPT has. Sonnet, October Sonnet. But I mean, I guess I haven't asked it for the solution yet. But it's not good at visual things. Just like generally. We could mess around for a second and put in. Nah, it's just not gonna work. I have a really good sense of the capabilities of the models, and they're just not that good at visual stuff, right? Like they don't have enough data. Absy is here. Yo, what up, Absy? How's it going? I was just talking a while ago about how your issue keeps revealing more issues. That's basically my life, by the way. Every day I create 10 bugs trying to do one small thing. I'm trying to like make like an LED blink and, you know, something really simple, and then I find a million bugs. I kind of want to fix this, so I don't know if I should put a bounty on it because I don't want to get people started if they can't finish. But this is definitely like I spent 2.5 hours fixing one of the issues. So if somebody fixes this, it's probably worth quite a bit. This is at least a $50 bounty. But I don't know if anybody will fix it, and I want it really fast. So like, I don't know. Maybe I'll work on that. I'll keep working on this just to keep the thread going on the stream. But if I can't get it in the next, well, until I go to eat lunch, then I'll just put the $50 bounty on it. Could be really simple because it kind of looks like it might just be an orientation bug or, yeah. It could be really simple. All right. Let's see if we can make any headway. I'm just thinking about what approach I want to take for it. Because I think I really want, again, to get a super isolated... Like, it's good that we have a test that seems to reproduce all the scenarios, but I do think we need to narrow it if I'm going to start debugging. So I kind of need to probably do what I did last time and just simplify until I have the smallest working example. Or smallest buggy example. I should add this to the issue too. Broke your code with ChatGPT. Sounds right. From this test. See trace.ts, do initial schematic trace render. My issue is making issues. Will I learn the code more and more with every bug? I find it good for me. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you just keep digging and you understand more and more. I totally agree. Yeah. I think you're on a good route. I just feel bad that you're not getting bounties. We're going to have a request bounty in the future, and we're also going to reward people who create issues. So it's a good habit. But yeah, we're going to be tracking that in the future. It's just tough to track right now because I would have to spend a lot of effort on it. But you know, with the contribution tracker, we're already tracking PRs okay. So I think it's just I need to also add issues created and stuff like that, issue quality and issues created to each of these. It's a pretty good week. Something that's happened recently is we've become more top heavy. You know what's crazy is Anas and Absi are actually doing a ton of stuff. I don't know why that's not super well represented here. Bug, what is bug? Say it's just a feature. I don't know why you like that framing more. I think a feature has to provide new value, like some kind of like novel value to the user, but we're improving the value. So an improvement I wouldn't normally put into the feature category. I think just that's not for like you have to think about how customers think about it. Customers, when they see this, they don't see it as a feature that you fix the trace. It would be disingenuous to say that to a customer or a user. You would say we fixed it. It's a bug because we fixed it. So yeah, take that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a recommended approach. Oh, I'm going to put the bounty on this. But I'm going to give another hint, which is there's that like create schematic crossing segments. So we'll copy the GitHub permalink for that. The bug is most likely in this file. I would highly suggest creating a simplified reproduction of particular incorrect trace drawings, crossings by removing stuff, by copying, then removing stuff from the test above. All right, good night, Rohit. Thanks for stopping by. Enjoy your sleep time. Sleep is very important. All right, we're gonna put a $50 bounty on this. It's so intimidating when you look at this. It's kind of funny. Yeah, I'd be down to fix this, but instead what I'm going to do is work on the BOM view for snippets. I did smoothing like this. It handles renaming. Rotations, and also check that it exists. Good night. Good night. Good night, Absy. Check that it exists in symbols, because not every symbol has left / right / up / down defined. Oh, you are doing that. Okay. Yeah, we're pretty close to lunchtime. Let's see how hard it is to add the BOM view. So basically, BOM is bill of materials. We want people to see be able to see the bill of materials in the preview content. Oh, I didn't merge my dumb tiny fix. I should do that. Yeah, update core. Yeah. It's very disappointing how few things are fixed. When is lunchtime? It's a great question. I'm starting to get hungry. I just drink a lot of coffee in the morning, and then that kind of staves off my hunger. I think I've got at least 40 minutes in the tank. I think I have about 40 minutes in the tank, but I am getting hungry. Hunger does grow quickly, and I do have to prep, so we'll see. Yeah, it's 11 o'clock my time. And I skipped breakfast. If you see me streaming at like 7 a.m., I definitely skipped breakfast. Or 7 a.m. my time. These streams are easier, though. I'm not really like talking that much this stream, relatively. So. All right, I'm already getting spammed with notifications from the auto updater. Oh, drives me nuts. Okay, it's fine. All right, cool. So latest version of snippets. Let's add the BOM to the preview content. I'm going to be so lazy. I'm going to be just so lazy. Let's write out this feature in our Scratchpad. Okay, we want to introduce a new tab to the preview content called BOM. This tab will show a table with the supplier part numbers for different, for every source component. We're going to have to describe this a lot. What else do we want? This is what we're prompting the AI so that it writes our code for us. Yeah, so the other thing is, oops, Chrome. So This tab is getting a little crowded, so I actually want to remove JSON and make it so like these are all in a drop down. The preview content tab view is pretty crowded. So we want to remove JSON, the top level, and introduce a tab that's a drop down menu. Show the hamburger icon as the tab name. The drop-down menu will reveal the BOM and JSON as options. You can select. All right. So it needs to know. Oh, we don't have a docs directory. So I like to create docs directories so that AI can know how things work. So we're going to create a docs directory. And then we're going to plop, which is our way of dropping in template files. We're going to plop the circuit.json. Oh, we need source. Oh, we don't have a source overview. So we have AI-generated overviews that you can use just to kind of brief an AI on how stuff works. Let's see how these are generated. I actually don't know if it's AI generated. Can't remember. Circuit.json. It's a script, maybe? Script generate. Schematic overview. Okay. Oh yeah, it is AI generated. Okay. Okay. I don't know if this is going to work. Sometimes when you're prompting AI to modify things that look like prompts, like you could accidentally mix your like stuff together. Like it could get confused. So I don't know if this will work, but introduce a new script, generate source component overview. That's yes. That generates the source component overview.md in the docs directory. Showing, I don't know, how the structure of source components. Okay, that's going to take a second to generate because that's a really big context. I'm going to do a quick bathroom run. Be right back. Okay, so wants to create the script. Whoa. We'll go ahead and run it. I should probably look at it before I run random scripts, but yeah, so it's looking, okay, circuit.json, source component overview. Yeah, all right. Okay, let's see how it did. Any type below, okay. Yeah, this looks good. So the only thing is it doesn't cover supplier part numbers, I think. Supplier part numbers, right? Supplier part numbers, source component base. Oh, huh. I think we need to refactor a little bit of code for this to generate properly. Yeah, okay. Type inferred. Yeah, something like that. True. Okay, let's check out the error. This expect types match function, I wrote a much better version of this the other day. So let's move that over here because it's such a cool function. I probably wrote in the props repo. It's probably, yeah, type check. Yeah, I even put in some type tests. So this is like a super underrated technique. It's crazy how underrated this technique is. But you can, like, these are tests. These are like tests that run whenever you run TypeScript. Like whenever TypeScript is like type checking. Super underrated. There's so many things you can do with that. Like making sure your UI covers each case and stuff like that. But you do have to have pretty good type foo. So I don't use it very often, but this is a case where I wrote this function so that it tells you what props are missing and stuff like that. So just really nice errors. So now when we look at this, it says extra props manufacturer part number. So so we need to add manufacturer part number. Supplier part numbers. Supplier name. I guess we have to export that probably. The inferred types for enums in Zod are pretty good, so I'm gonna continue using that. Supplier name. Oh, it's already all set up. Oh, everything's fine. Okay. We're still getting an error. Let's see why. Okay, so when it says true false, that means you have like a subtle error inside your thing. So I haven't like rigged it to be good enough to help me with these yet. So everything looks about right though. So we're doing all of this so that AI understands what the source component base is, so that it understands that there's supplier part numbers on every object, and it knows how to work with those. It says F type is optional, so that's one issue. What's the issue? Why don't the types match? Added a comment. Whoa, okay. The supplier enum produces a union type. What? No way. C.record supplier. No, that should work. That should work. So we're going to say, take out supplier part numbers there. We're going to say, is that equal to source component base, supplier part numbers. They're not the same. Still no good type error there. But let's see if we can figure out why they're not the same. This is a partial, and this one is not a partial. That is actually a big difference. So that's a good catch. Partial, because you don't need to define all the suppliers. Okay, now we're all good. AI was wrong. That's the cursor AI. Let's see. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, right. We need to rerun our script. So it's going to generate an overview of source components. Source component is like, we call the source like, it refers to like source code or like stuff that doesn't translate to schematic or PCB. So, there's a couple different like categories that you compile things into, or sections, independent sections. Source component overview. The base didn't make it in here? Is that right? Okay, guess I'm gonna have to read the code that generates this. It's in the source directory. Reader. Okay, so it's because it's not reading the directory recursively. Read the directory recursively to get nested files. Wow, I didn't know that was an option. Recursive true. Reader sync recursive. Do we have it? Source, component, base. Yeah. This is pretty weird because I guess it's combining the types together. Whatever. These types aren't exactly correct. This is a simplified version. It'll have to do for now. Okay. So we can add this to our remote templates now.
instead of waiting for everything to publish, I will just copy this over for now. So we have our docs directory and snippets. We're going to add circuit JSON source components overview.md. Yeah. And okay, preview content is pre-credits. We want to remove. Let's drop down menu. It's power partners for every source component. Each column in the BOM table should be the first entry of supplier part numbers record. For example, it should be like, how do we want to do this? Let's do ref designator. Say name, like source component name, GLC PCB, macrofab. R1, C1234. U1, H4, whatever, or MF. I think macrofab actually has a prefix like that. Macrofab. All right, good enough. Add source component overview docs. So we're going to add docs. We're going to add the source directory. And then we're just going to paste this in. See how it does. All right, let's run it. See what happens. Okay, so we've got a ... BOM CSV. It kind of did it. It's okay. Everything crashes when we open the BOM table. Not bad, all things considered. Okay, so let's see what the crash error is. That's easy enough to move. If we open JSON, is it fine? Okay. BOM table is not defined. But we know it if you glanced at the code, it's like copy multi. It's going pretty good. Just doing features or bugs and, you know, just trying to make progress. Yeah, I'd love to just spend all day building new circuits, but it's like really hard when your schematics don't render properly. So we're like, or like in this case, what I'm doing now is we just introduced new functionality for bill of materials. So making that easier. It looks like this works, but the dropdown appears in a weird location, but not too bad. I don't know why the dropdown is off. I also think there should be checkboxes next to this guy. Like when I click on these, you can't really tell which one is selected. Also, when you select it for a minute, it disappears all the content. You also can't select away from it. So it's a pretty bad implementation. But, you know, it's fine. So let's fix all the problems the AI created. We could also ask it to try to do it. Did you fix the zoom? Somebody else did, and you would not believe how simple the fix was. It's such a good... There were 2 people who did like 5 PRs, and I just didn't understand the PR, so I was like, can you simplify it? Can you simplify it? And they kept like adding weird things and stuff like that. And then finally this guy's like, oh, I reduced it, and it ended up being 1 line to fix the zoom. And I am still bewildered that this fixes it. But let me see if I can find it, just because it's so interesting. So this guy claimed, I think this was 30, maybe $30 on this bounty. And it was just this 1 line that I've never needed to add before. But for some reason, it must be something with Tailwind. It's a CSS fix. Yeah. I could not believe it. And everybody was doing math. Everybody was trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. And yeah, transform origin. It was like, yeah, I don't even know how he found it. I've never used this CSS ever. I was blown away. But that fixed everything. Now you can zoom in perfectly. It works perfect. So it's pretty exciting. Yeah. Earlier we were this is kind of a funny stream because we spent 2 hours trying to fix these, and I thought I had reproduced it because like these jumps don't look right. So somebody made this schematic and they're like, this is really hard to read, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And anyway, spent 2 hours fixing this. We had a reproduction, thought everything would work. And then we updated the code and it just fixed this 1 trace. So we had reproduced this 1 case. Took 2 hours. I do think it's probably easy to fix all of these. I think it's an orientation issue, but I gave up. I think I put a $50 bounty on it. I reproduced it in a test and I was like, somebody else deal with this. 'Cause after 2 hours. Anyway, now we're adding a bill of materials view, just like a simple table that tells you where your parts are coming from. Unfortunately, I don't have a great test snippet for bill of materials, I think. So we've got this 555 timer. Yeah, there's no bill of materials on this, but we can quickly try to add that. The other thing that's maybe mildly interesting is yesterday we added tscircuit.com now goes to snippets, because I was like, the old homepage still exists, but and I think it's cool. I like this homepage a lot. I spent a lot of time on it. But it just has a lot of dated links and stuff, and I feel like it's better to just have something people basically go right to the playground. So that's also another big change. The site also feels like people use it because people actually do use it. So I think it's better to have a website that looks like something people actually use. Okay, the reason this part's super broken is because we just had an AI introduce this, and it is quite broken. Can I save this? No. It's another bug is you can, I don't know how to fork. Can I fork this? How do I fork? Yeah, you have to go all the way back here, then hit the fork button, and now I have a fork. Okay. So I don't like the order of these. The hamburger should be at the end. I do like the aesthetic of the hamburger. I'm also glad the AI knew what I meant when I said a hamburger icon. That makes me happy. Even though this is not a hamburger, right? This is the triple dot. Horizontal is not a hamburger. Triple dot, it's the new hamburger. It used to be a hamburger. Do you guys know what I mean by this? Hamburger icon? It's this. This is a hamburger icon. but nobody uses that anymore. They use this horizontal triple dot, so it's like dated terminology. It makes no sense anymore. And the AI did a manual SVG for it. It's pretty funny. Okay, let's change the tab order. The dropdown is messed up. Value more, instead of that, I don't know if this will work, but I'm going to try to cancel the event because this is not supposed to change the tab. I missed the hamburger icon. It's this. Yeah. It's dated, right? This is like Material UI days. They used to be all over. Okay. So now our kind of more icon is in a little bit of a better place. Also, when I click on it, prevent default prevents it from it looks like it actually, no, it shouldn't. It's still somehow changing. What if we did this? We said value is current. Do we have like a current tab? Are we even tracking that? Value active tab. So we'll just say that whatever, when you click it, its value is just going to be the active tab. It'll do nothing. Oh, but then it's always highlighted. Yeah, pretty clear they did not want me to do what I'm doing. Let's just make it a div. What's the new version? 3 dots. Yeah, 3 horizontal dots. Like what I have over here. That's kind of like the new, it's the new edgy version. Okay, we're going to have to do stuff with this, but I don't know if I like how it used an SVG for this. Like, this is such a common icon. Let's see if Lucide has it. Lucide is my preferred icon library. It's probably called more. Yeah, there we go. It's called ellipsis. I love how icon libraries now know aliases. So if, like, that annoyed me with the Material UI icons library back in the day, is I would always type in like, oh, hamburger, and then it wouldn't have whatever alias it is. Because these icons all have a million names at this point. Okay, anyway, we'll add the ellipsis vertical icon. I kind of like horizontal. What's the difference? When do you use both? Or when do you use each? When to use triple dot vertical versus horizontal icon. Let's see what the internet says. Traditionally known for displaying more options in unfinished menu. You know what? I like horizontal. iOS uses horizontal hamburger icon. All right. All right. Makes me very happy to see people using the hamburger terminology, even though it makes no sense anymore. All right. Yeah, we're going to make it the non-vertical version. You know what? Actually, it does open a drop down. But I feel, yeah, I don't know. I'm conflicted. Let's add some padding on this. I'm going to try to do a side-by-side. Supposedly with Max, I don't know how to do it. Let's see. Somebody told me left half. Yeah. All right. Right half. Okay. VS Code horizontal, Chrome vertical. Yeah, that's true. Literally right there. Good point. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, and they both open dropdowns. Okay, so here's my theory on why horizontal is better in this particular case. These are already horizontal items, and we're saying, oh, there's more. Like, click on this, and you'll get the little ones, the less important ones, and that's exactly what I want. So I think it makes a lot of sense to do horizontal in this case. But I'm trying to get the spacing right because this is kind of like a fake tab trigger. I think that's probably about right. And then we'll add a cursor pointer to it so it looks clickable. Like that. Ooh, it's kind of small though. Okay, that's better. Yeah, all right. And then do these highlight? These don't highlight. That's kind of cool or interesting. Those don't highlight when you go over them. But we'll keep that convention. When somebody clicks this, it's supposed to open a drop down. Tabs content more. Oh, that's terrible. Wow, what a bad implementation. Terrible implementation. They made it so that the more content. I was wondering why that menu would go down. That's a terrible choice. But I do forget how to do drop down. So let's do make this open a drop down with BOM and JSON options. There's a way to do it with the sort of trigger system. Microsoft Edge is also horizontal. I wonder if they have logic. At some size, I think of a company, I think it makes sense to have logic for even decisions like that. As like overly pedantic as it might seem, I think it's a good idea. Okay, cool. So that works. We can click these. So now the problem is it doesn't show if those menus are currently selected. Show a check if this is the active tab. I also don't like the text size, but we'll adjust that in a moment. I kind of want it before. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Let's take a look. So it's got a big check. I like it on the left. And then currently the JSON tab is called table. I feel like that's a really bad move. So we'll call that JSON, circuit JSON. And then basically, I just want this to not display if this is the active tab so that everything stays nice and aligned. So we're going to say we can do active tab and or we can say not active tab and was it display none? Was it none? It's display none in CSS, but what is that in Tailwind? Tailwind, display none. It's probably hide. I bet it's hide. There's hidden. We actually don't want, and now that I think about it, we actually want it to be transparent. Invisible, maybe? Invisible. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So this is a little bit better because everything will line up slightly better. Gotta do this and this. Okay. Yeah, it's all about consistency. Oh, this should be active tab equals circuit JSON. Okay, yeah. All right, so now the JSON and BOM text line up. Something bothers me about the text size. I'm just going to tweak this for a moment. we'll say that that is 3, and then we'll set the text to I wonder if I can do it here. Say text XS. See what that looks like. Does that even do anything? Ooh. I do not think that affected the text. Oh, man. Can I do this? Yeah, that worked. Okay. Yeah, that's basically it. You can choose the JSON or BOM menu. I think we can call it bill of materials. I think we have space to unabbreviate. Yeah. I don't love how this looks, but it's fine. We saved a little bit of space. Okay, so the other issue is it's not actually, like, the bill of materials view actually doesn't really display anything right now. So let's give it some fake data to display. C1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure it displays properly. Okay, so yeah, let's take a checkpoint. This is an okay start, but this should be a link. So we should be able to click this and then go to the relevant JLC PCB page. Add BOM tab and improve and add, I don't know, drop down for new preview views. Yeah, we're gonna do a lot of different like ways to look at your data for the circuit. Possibly simulation in there as well. But these are the main ones: PCB, schematic, 3D. Errors might also be tucked away. It's better for mobile. Okay, so BOM view, drop down in preview content. But I'm not going to be satisfied till that's a link. So let's see, BOM table, we now have this. Goes through each one, supplier part number, supplier. I don't know, let's say like linkify. With the supplier name as well. Yeah. If supplier is equal to JLC PCB, that might work. Okay. So it's a link, but it's not well highlighted, so there should be a link component that we're supposed to use from Wouter, I guess. It's not really great though. Okay, let's not do that. Should I style this manually? I kind of don't want to. Underline text blue 500. I feel like I shouldn't have to do this. That's fine though. Part detail 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's not how you, okay, this is gonna be tough for me to figure out. Let's see if that general pattern works for linking. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. You have to, I don't know how you get the link for a JLC PCB part. Given a JLC PCB part number, how can I get a link to jlcpcb.com or lcsc.com? I was thinking that LCSC links might work. So we've got kind of two options here. So if I just remove, if I do, whoops, if I just put it in there, it's suggesting that this should work. Oh, it does work. So I guess they have like both versions of the web page available. So we're good. It just doesn't exist. 1, 2, 3, C1234 just doesn't exist. So that's fine. Cool. Are we done? That's the BOM view, JSON view. I feel like we could tuck errors in there. It's like not something I click on very often. Let's tuck errors in there and then we'll call it a day. Zohaib, what up? How's it going? Okay, I'm going to select this whole section and just say put errors inside the drop-down menu. The errors tab inside the drop-down menu. Okay. I like how it set that up. That's how I would do it. Maybe we kind of want to maybe test an error. Okay, so now we have errors. So it has a big 1 there when we have errors. I feel like the drop-down should show if there's errors too. But let's reduce the size of that. Something like that. That bubble is pretty big. And we got to reduce the size of the text too. We'll say 10px. Still feels pretty big to me relative to the text size. Yeah, it's not really that important information, so I feel pretty good about it being small. Reduce the outline slightly. I think that's good. Something that I think would look nice is if we did flex, maybe justify between. Yeah, okay. So instead of justify between, we'll throw this guy in a flex grow. Like that. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Just that one, that red one is on the right. And then let's see if we can get that more icons to also display a dot. So this is the ellipsis icon. And what I'm going to do, this is going to be tricky, but I'm going to make it relative. And then if we have an error message, I don't know how it read my mind on that one. This is going to be absolute. Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's basically what I want, but I'm going to hide the number. And then we're going to make it way smaller. We're just kind of hinting that there's a bug. And I don't know, I guess I'll manually adjust this. It's a little jank, but okay. Yeah, I think that's good. Just a little visual hint that you have an error. And if we don't have an error, it goes away. I like that. Yeah. Just a way of seeing your bill of materials. Cool. Tab size reduced. Yeah, I'm very, very happy with this PR. This came out great, I think. I was kind of worried about the implementation details, but I really like how this came out. Add BOM, or wait, what do we do? Add errors to drop-down menu. Make links go, or part numbers go to JLC PCB. Let's push that up. Oh, test failure, type check. Yoshibo, what up? How's it going? Some issues in BOM table. We just added a bill of materials table to snippets. And we also put a bunch of stuff behind this menu so that we can keep adding things. So I don't know what else. I know simulation is something I wanted to add, where you can run a spice simulation. I don't know what else I have planned to add. This might be it. You can view the circuit JSON. You can see errors, bill of materials. I might add more things. But anyway, that's kind of cool that we can kind of add more ways of looking at the code. Back in the day, we used to have a debug view that was for like debugging visual data, but that's kind of gone out of style. It might still be live. Yeah, I think it still kind of works. This is like a debug view. So like you can kind of get in and see what specific elements are. This is kind of sick. I'd be down to re-add this. Visual debug. But this is more for deving. It's not really for, yeah. And debug.tscircuit.com is super out of date. Element type implicitly has an any type. Let's ask AI to fix it and see what happens. That makes sense. Oh, it didn't even fix it. That wasn't the bug. That wasn't the bug. Element has an any because string can't be used to index. Oh, so the issue is actually here. We could just say is supplier name. Where's supplier columns? We're going to say this is a set of supplier name as supplier name. Okay. Annoying type issue. It's possible we broke some of the playwright tests too, because they might try to click on errors and not be able to click on errors. Any break? No, they all passed. Should be good then. For cell failed to build, that's unusual. Oh, just because the type fell. All right, we're waiting for playwright tests. Then this can go live. the BOM view is useful before you go to order to make sure that you have that like your order can be fully completed by whatever supplier or fabricator you're uploading it to, because they'll tell you if they have all the parts. Something that would be really cool is if we put in the quantity. That's going to be like a more of a cloud thing than the TS circuit core thing. But if we gave the quantities and the availability of the order, so we might do that in the future, at least on snippets. Maybe not in the CLI, or we could have a, because we don't want the CLI to be cloud dependent. Oh, these are taking a while to run. Okay, 17 passed. We're good. Nice. I just noticed you hit 100 subs. Congrats, Mr. Genius. Thank you. Thank you. On YouTube? On YouTube? Nice. 100 subscribers. Yeah, thanks everybody. Feels great. This is, you know, two more magnitudes and, you know, I'll be somebody. Yeah, but thanks for the subs, appreciate it. And you know, timing isn't great for that, but I'm gonna break for lunch. This has been a good 3.5 hour stream. I enjoyed it. We got some stuff done. You guys can see how I work a little bit, how I make AI do all the work. But thanks for joining. Definitely hop on our Discord. It's that little button at the top of tscircuit.com. This little chat icon now. We don't have a sort of a Discord button anymore. But I think this works. I actually didn't test it. Yeah, it works. But yeah, catch us soon.